WWE.
The action doesn't stop.
When you step out of the ring with the WWE Wrecking Slambulance. Tear the Slambulance apart for the ultimate brawl and send your opponent busting out the back on a loaded stretcher.
Smith's Toy Superstores. If I were rich.
Toy.
I'm thinking we're back.
I'm thinking we're back. Here we are. So this is going to be we're not only going to be fighting, but occasionally we might be reviewing two movies that we saw this weekend. Pokemon Detective Pikachu and John Wick 3. Oh, and The Intruder. We watched that too.
Forgot that in the title.
Made some new people, downloaded some new people, so... Hey, maybe a little tournament at the end of the video. Let's see, who I'm gonna be. I have so many whack jobs.
Wait till you see this lineup.
Oh, cannot wait. Oh, no. Mr. Rogers, I don't know. It might be the angle of his face, but there's something off. Let's do the review while we do the loading screens, I guess.
Review.
So, the first movie we saw on Friday was the Pokemon Detective Pikachu movie. Basically, it's a mystery type of, it's based off the Detective Pikachu game, and it's about this kid who teams up with Pikachu, and it's like a big mystery unraveling. There probably will be most likely spoilers throughout this video, so if you have not seen any of these movies, don't even bother continuing watching. But I mean, again, who the fuck's gonna watch? General consensus, not great. Not a great movie. Just a disclaimer, I'm not a Pokemon fanatic. I'm the least Pokemon fanatic out of... I only know basic characters and different Pokemon. I don't know every name of the different Pokemon or the different moves. Daddy Jeff? Oh my god. Ayo.
Ayo. Put that feisty sign down. There's children around.
Alright. So going back to the review. So Kurt, what do you... Alright, so you were more the Pokemon fan and you didn't like it. What was the disappointing aspects?
Than you? There were multiple disappointing aspects.
Okay, so...
But I have to say... I'll say my biggest issue was with the acting ability of the main two characters that weren't Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
So like the guy who finds Detective Pikachu and the love interest of that guy.
Yeah.
The reporter who wants to break the scoop.
Why are people booing? I hear people booing for Mr. Rogers.
I have no idea. I did not make him. They should not be booing, but...
This man's a national treasure. Hell, even his sweater collection's in the fucking Smithsonian.
He should have been a night in the museum.
It can get better than this.
Unless he was. I have no idea.
Kurt, what makes a good Pokemon movie? Because I haven't watched any. What makes
a good Pokemon? I don't know. I feel like it's more of the journey of the characters.
Yeah.
That's probably what makes a good Pokemon movie. I feel like, I don't know, just like, I guess it's just the journey and the characters that are in the journey.
The fuck? Wait, what? Did you do this?
I put that on there, yeah.
Oh my god.
The most Pokemon thing about this movie was the cage fighting scene.
Okay.
That's the most Pokemon feeling it had. There was not a lot of like detective stuff in this movie. It was just kind of like sprinkled in.
Yeah.
I was expecting more of it. Expecting it to be a main focus of the movie because it's Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
They had like little to none of the detective stuff. They just kind of like look for the father, and then there's like really tiny clues. Like they just kind of threaten people along the way to tell them where the next thing is that they gotta find.
The fuck? What happened to his face?
I have no idea.
It looks like someone like got a hot iron and just squished against his face.
Oh yeah, gross.
Yeah, I was expecting more detective stuff, and like you said, they weren't really doing a lot of detecting. It was more of like they threatened people to give them information, or it was just like by coincidence, oh, the factory, we have to go to the lab or whatever, or something like that. It wasn't a lot of
And they
like...
didn't do a lot of solving. They kind of got like video footage of like everything that happened in front of them. Like there's surprisingly a lot of holograms, which was weird. I was like, where is this coming from? The bad guy wasn't that great.
Oh, he was the worst aspect in this movie.
First of all, it was really predictable that he was the bad guy. Second of all, his motivation sucked. And I don't know, there was nothing standing out about him. I would say the best villain of the movie was the Pokemon, the Ditto Pokemon. Because the guy had a Ditto, and it turned into like different people and stuff, and that was kind of cool. For me, the acting ability was really off, because Ryan Reynolds was like the best part about the movie, and in every scene I think Ryan Reynolds was like great as Pikachu. Like he had something funny to say, and you know, I laughed at Ryan Reynolds stuff, but like the main kid and the
love interest,
they were so bad. Like there was no acting ability whatsoever, because she's like a news reporter, and she was like trying to report, you know, the rumors of like the Pokemon thing going on. And the guy who was in charge was like, we don't report on rumors, this is a news station. And he's like, why are they painting this guy as a bad guy? Because that's exactly what the news is supposed to do. I was going nuts with the guy's acting ability.
I know that was a big thing for you.
And the dialogue, the script writing, like the dialogue the characters had between each other was like, it was not that great. It felt like I was watching an actor try to act and failing really miserably than the character grieving about the loss of his dad, or trying to, you know, come to terms with it at least, because I know he didn't have the best relationship with his dad or whatever. It was really poorly done, especially because there's a lot of CGI. Nick hated the CGI. I didn't hate the CGI, but I thought that there's a lot of characters that didn't look right, but there was some Pokemon that were looked good. I really wasn't expecting this movie to be absolutely crazy, because they had a lot of stuff in it that was like, there was like mountains exploding and shit, and there was like giant Pokemon as mountains, but like I wasn't expecting them to be like dodging mountains that are like gonna crush them. I was kind of expecting like an end battle with the Mewtwo and everything, but I was not expecting everyone to be like, I don't know, it was just nuts. I was expecting more of a detective movie where it's like they're trying to solve where the father is, and it was more of just like an absolutely crazy end of the world scenario. It was, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't even expecting too much from this movie. I was kind of just expecting, oh, you know, it'll be just like a decent movie. It was like, it wasn't the worst movie ever, but it was like pretty bad. The only funny jokes were Ryan Reynolds, like Ryan Reynolds jokes. The kids jokes were like really cringy and really bad. And I came in at like the 2-minute mark. I missed like the first 2 minutes, and Nick explained to me what happens in the first 2 minutes, which is the Mewtwo attacks the father in the car.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm like, why would they even show that then? Because that shows you what happened to the father.
Yeah.
Because what happened to the father? So I'm like, there's a mystery behind what happened to the father. Then I'm like, Nick, what did I miss for like the first 2 minutes? This movie's all over the place. And he's like, oh, well, Mewtwo exploded out of a base or whatever and attacked the car. And I was just like, really? They showed that? Because I was like, I thought that was the part of the mystery. They just show what happens in the beginning. I don't know. It's just, it was not that great. And I know, you know, Martin and Kenna were kind of just like, you know, it's just a Pokemon movie, and you shouldn't look too much into it. Martin was saying, like, you know, the CGI thing, they were showing off the CGI. But, like, it's a movie, I'm gonna critique it, and this was, like, a big thing. Like, a lot of people are, like, excited to get, like, this live-action Pokemon movie, and everything, and it was just, it sucked. It wasn't like,
and
it
it's the
didn't
highest
feel like
rated
Pokemon.
video game movie ever. On
That's
Rotten Tomatoes.
not, that's disgusting because it was an awful fucking video game movie. Oh yeah, Ben Swallow. I gotta change the name thing so it says that.
Wide Boy.
In the ring. Yeah, wide. Hashtag, I mean, at Wide Boy or something. Hot Pockets. Hot Pockets.
Listen, I've watched, we have watched so many video game adaptations, like movie adaptations, and for them to say this was the best one is a bit jarring, because
yeah, there was way better.
All right, I will say this: the Tomb Raider movie that came out, I think it was like last year or the year before, was really good because I played the rebooted Tomb Raider games, which is what it's based off of, and that movie was pretty solid on what that game is, like adventure game, right. The over the top, falling down ravines or crazy getting like hurt moments in the game. And then, you know, like you have the bow and arrow and the pickaxe and all that stuff. And that was all in there. And then, you know, we got the two guns at the end of the movie. But as a Tomb Raider fan of the game, I felt like that was a good movie. And Mortal Kombat, the first one.
Yes.
All right, I will say this. It's not a perfect movie, but it has a lot of great moments in it. It's a really entertaining movie. I'm sure that it could be made better. But like
the sequel is
good.
Dog shit.
Well, yeah.
But the first one is like, it's a classic.
So the next movie we watched was Intruder.
I want the family. I want our kids to be able to play outside.
This is it, 6741.
This is so pretty.
I'm Charlie Peck.
Scott Howard.
Welcome to Foxglove. It's the only house I ever lived in. I put my soul into it.
You're not gonna believe this. Charlie is outside cutting the grass.
What?
Did you just get this out of the garage?
That's where I keep it. Hey! Stop drilling holes in my house!
The man acts like the house still belongs to him.
Honey, he's lonely.
Wouldn't you just go for it?
The Intruder. It stars Dennis Quaid. And I found out that the wife in that movie was the girl from Shazam, who played the grown-up version, like the Shazam version of the little girl. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, oh, I've seen her before. And then I'm like, that's where she's from. And then the guy is from, I know I've seen the guy before, and I think I've seen him in. God, I know I've seen him somewhere. I think he was in one of those comedy movies, like What Men Want or something like that. So basically, this young couple, they get a new house, and the previous homeowner is played by Dennis Quaid, and Dennis can't let go. His character can't let go of the house.
Yeah, he does not want to let go of the house.
It's more of the ending that sells it to you, because it's like you know all the answers by the end of it, and you're like, oh my god, that's what that is, and especially when you're watching for the first time, you're like, oh my god, you're discovering it with the character, like, this is what's been going on, and they had a couple of those moments. Like the part where, like, he's been in the house.
He was living in the basement.
He was living in the house.
Yeah, we kind of figured that out, but it was like, it was still really shocking, though.
Yeah.
Me and Martin were like, oh my god, this is so creepy.
A couple of the shots were really good. Like the part where the kids are driving away, and you see Dennis Quaid, like, in the trees, and then they have the lights on him.
Good.
And then that was a really good one.
Great shot.
The characters themselves were all over the place for me. The husband sometimes was so unlikable. Like, it was just like, because they reference that he cheated on his wife, and then she has a thing about, like, you have to call me instead of text me, because, like, the last time you did that, you cheated on me. There was one instance where they were arguing, and then they go back in the house, and then he's like, can we make out on the couch now? And I'm like, where is this coming from? And I'm like, dude, no, like, she's not going to do that.
Yeah, the husband really pissed me off in this movie, because...
Oh, my God.
Like, he was such a douche. I kind of liked him at first, but then you see he's a fucking asshole. Obviously, there's the whole, like, you find out that he's cheated on her in the past, but, like, throughout the movie, he's just like hitting on these women right in front of her, and I'm like the things he says to there's like this lady at the ice cream shop,
like,
and she's like, oh, you know, you want a taste of this flavor? He's like, babe, I love that. I'm like, you don't say that to somebody. I'm like, what the fuck? It was just like, and she's like pissed off, and then she goes to the house pissed off, and I'm like,
oh, that's right. And then he's like, oh, can we make it on the couch now?
What did I do wrong? Blah 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 blah. And oh my god, it was so bad.
Yeah,
really
he had some smart ideas, and then especially when he was like, see, the problem is like he was unlikable for the most part, but he was smart. And then the wife was more likable, but she was not smart, and there wasn't really a good balance of one or the other. Oh my god, like they both had moments where I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like him is mostly like the cheating stuff, and then him trying to like rectify his decisions and trying to say, oh, can I sleep with you still? And then trying to say, oh, it's okay. And then her, I'm just like, how many times? It's like so many times that Dennis Quaid comes to the house, and she's like, it's unannounced, and I'm like, how can you like? This is too many times and that like she's let this man inside our house. That there's too many, like even her husband was like, what are you doing? Like, don't let him go to the house. I felt like I would have lost it when early in the fucking movie, Dennis Quaid's mowing their lawn, and I'm like, what? I felt like that would have been too far already, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, I already bought the house.
The movie time span is like, I don't know how. Yeah, the movie goes like through this time span because it's like they buy the house. I don't know when they buy the house, but then
let's say
like
end of
already
summer.
becomes Thanksgiving.
Then Thanksgiving.
And then all of a sudden
Christmas.
Yeah. And he keeps showing up at these moments, and I'm like, he's showing up like almost every like week or something, like twice a week. Yeah. And I'm just like, how do they keep putting up with this? And not only that, he keeps saying he's supposed to be going to Florida. He never goes to Florida. The husband's the only one who's catching on that he's not moving away. And the wife's like, oh, you know, it takes a lot of time to move. And I'm like, you guys moved in pretty fast into your house.
Oh my god.
And you guys had a shit ton of stuff. He had like a box, and that was it. The movie was pretty good. It was pretty good until the ending. The ending.
The ending was so bad. Building up to the climax was pretty good. So like the wife says, like the Dennis Quaid guy is like, wasn't he like trying to make out with her or something? Yeah, he was trying to make out with her. Yeah, and then she tells him to leave. He leaves. She's locking all like 20 doors of this house. There's like so many fucking doors. She's closing all the doors, and then she goes upstairs. And then there's like, they foreshadow this towel shelving
like a closet
door
thing,
closet thing, and then storage room, and then there's a whole thing about it. The door keeps on opening, and then Kurt, you brought up the idea, oh, it's like the wind, and then there's like a draft or whatever. So she goes, opens that up, and she discovers that he's been living inside the house. Like she finds the bed he's been sleeping in, and like there's like a bathroom and all this stuff. And then that's why like he's like keeps on being on the property, because he's been living under the property the entire time. And then that was good. And then she finds the body, and then like she's freaking out, and then like he knocks her out. Then what really lost me was like when the husband kind of comes home a little bit, and like the whole fighting was just like, where the fuck is this going? And then like the Dennis Quaid has guns in the house, like in the basement, so he's like gets a gun, and he's like trying to like the couple's like locked in the house.
But before you say the ending, throughout the movie, and I want to point this out, there is like this main character guy, the husband, has like, he like freaks out whenever he sees a gun because his mother was shot down when he was young, and I guess he witnessed it or something. He's like, he does not want a gun anywhere near him. He like has an anxiety attack. He like literally freaks out. And Dennis Quaid like brings the gun around a couple of times, and he freaks out and everything. But when the gun is present in the final scene, he totally gets over it out of nowhere. He just gets over it.
Alright, so like he ties up the wife, the husband comes, saves the wife gets out of the, her getting tied up. Then the husband's fighting Dennis Quaid throughout the house. He throws the husband, Dennis Quaid throws the husband down like 2 floors. And then
oh man, Karen Gillan is so hot.
he throws him over a balcony. And then he's like recovering from that. And then the wife's like locks the door, starts attacking Dennis Quaid when he busts through the door, and then the husband reunites with the wife, and then Dennis Quaid is like, he shoots the lights out, and there's like no lights in the house, so that the couple's hiding in a room, I think in a closet or something, and then he comes
hiding in a room, and he starts shooting through every single door. And that scene was dragged on for way too long. Because he literally shoots through 5 or 6 doors or something. And I'm just like, where the fuck are these people hiding from? I mean, hiding at? Because he's just like shooting through every door. And I'm like, how has he not found them yet? And it was going on for way too long.
And then the husband gets a bat. Out of nowhere. I don't know if this was a closet.
No, he shoots the last door. He shoots the last door.
Oh, yeah, shoots the last door.
And then he walks in, and the husband's got the bat.
Yeah.
And he beats Dennis Quaid in the head with the bat.
Yeah, and then, which was cool. And then, when he drops the bat, like, he gets the gun, there's like 1 shot left in the gun. And then Dennis Quaid's like, the wife's like getting the phone, trying to find a phone to call the police. And then, Dennis Quaid's like, you're not gonna shoot me, you pussy. And then he's like, he had a phobia of guns. And then and then the wife like gets a hold of the 911 people.
Yeah.
So there's been, and then this was, I like this.
This is the moment when
I like this part.
I was like, yeah.
I didn't like the husband shooting thing, but I like when the wife's like, there's been a murder, my husband just killed an intruder in our house. And then Dennis Quaid's like, oh shit. And he's like crying. He's like, don't do this. And then, then the husband shoots him willy-nilly. And I'm like, that makes no sense. I felt like, I think it should have been the other way around, where the wife shoots him. And then the husband's calling.
We're just moments away from what will likely be.
I think it would have been a better ending if the wife was like, she just turns on the husband or something, or like, because it literally felt like that throughout the whole movie, like where she keeps inviting this guy in, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why do you keep doing that? It probably would have made more sense if she was just like, I'm sick of my husband cheating on me, because he does almost cheat on her again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he goes to the bar with his boss, and the boss is like trying to make out with him, and he's like, I can't do this, blah 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 blah. But like he was the one to like, he was like flirting with her early on in the movie and stuff. But the whole Dennis Quaid aspect, that was like made him like think about his wife, and he was like, I gotta go home and protect her instead of cheating on her. But it was just like, it would have made more sense if the fucking wife just had enough of her husband to the point where she's just gonna accept this, like she snaps and just accepts this kooky guy. Because the way she says it, I thought she was like turning on the husband when she calls the 911 operator.
Mm-hmm.
Like for a second, but then because it sounds like my husband. I almost thought she said my husband like attacked me or something, and then like he turned around or whatever, and then it was like, oh shit. But then I realized she said my husband shot an intruder,
and then it goes to credits. There's no. See, the problem is I don't like abrupt endings too much. This is the problem about Halloween, the movie that came out last year. The problem with that movie was that it ended abruptly. And I'm like, I want to see the aftermath. I want to see like the day after. And then I felt like this one deserved it too. And I'm like, it should have been like something like, it's like nice and peaceful at the house or whatever. And, I don't know. I felt like the way that they had the ending, what the fuck? Isn't this the Catch Me Outside
Catch Me Outside, how about that?
But yeah, the ending was just so abrupt, and I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah, this movie had me, but the ending was just so.
I think the ending was so bad that I really liked this movie until the ending. The ending made me really
and then the
pissed
characters.
that I watched this
the
movie.
Characters drove me a bit insane too.
The characters were shit too. Dennis Quaid was pretty likable until he started like getting really rapey. I was like, I do not like. He did a good job of being a creepy guy.
Yeah.
And I like him as a creepy guy, but I was kind of like, I was like more on Dennis Quaid's side, to be honest, during the movie, up until he got rapey. And then I was like, this guy is really not. You need to get rid of this guy. He's not okay.
Okay, so John Wick 3.
We're not going in like the old days. Just a conversation.
Nothing's ever just a conversation with you, John.
It takes place immediately after the ending of John Wick 2, where he's on the run. He shot the guy at the Continental, and now he's excommunicado. He's running out of time, so he has to get all these supplies and try to get out. And it has most of the same cast from the previous movies, and then some newcomers. This was the best movie of the week, the John Wick movie.
Yeah.
This movie, I mean, I was anticipating. It just exceeded my expectations. Had a lot. The action was fucking crazy. Yes, I knew it was going to meet my expectations, but it exceeded them with the action scenes. The action scenes were fucking crazy. The whole first act was so perfect. Like the action and the music and everything. I think what kind of like dipped it a little bit for me was like towards the ending. Like it just felt like the overall narrative wasn't as strong as I would say like the first movie. Action scenes and stuff were I think the best in the series, because like they had this whole scene. I think my favorite sequence was the knife store. They go into a knife store or a weapons shop, and like there's like 6 guys attacking John Wick, and then they're breaking cases, they're throwing knives at each other. There's a point where John Wick throws like 8 knives in a guy. It was crazy. Yeah. Like Halle Berry was so good in this movie. She was so good in this movie. Like Kurt and I always have this inside joke about Halle Berry being in these kidnap movies where like there's a situation where like someone is kidnapped or her child is kidnapped or something like that. But in this movie, oh my god, she was so good. Like she's like the manager of the Casablanca Continental, and then she has these 2 dogs, and her action sequences with those dogs were so good. Like
I'm happy because she is a good actress and everything, but like her roles, like throughout the years, like starting with like Catwoman and like, I mean she was good in The Call, but like she does these kidnapping movies where it's like she plays like the same character basically, and she was really really good in this movie. She was so cool, but I'm happy because like I don't know, I feel like her acting is like great, and like she doesn't explore it enough. Because like she's been playing the same character for a long time now with the whole kidnapping stuff, and she's always like playing this mother or whatever. Iron Chef was great.
Oh yeah, they had the guy from Iron Chef America, Mark. Oh god, I forgot his last name.
Yeah, I can't
Mark
remember his
Coscos or something like that. Coscos.
The time has come to once again answer life's most savory question. Whose cuisine reigns supreme? This is Iron Chef America.
Farmers Market! I cuisine! I cuisine! I cuisine! I cuisine! I cuisine! I cuisine! I cuisine!
He was great. He was the best John Wick villain out of. I think he was. He's kind of like half a villain, like the main villain, because it's the other bitch too from the high table. But she was good. Like she was a good actress playing a bitch. Like that was one of the scenarios.
She was good at being a bitch.
Yeah.
The character I was like pissed off about.
Yeah.
But the acting of the lady was great.
So yeah. Mark Dacascos was great because he was a super fan of John Wick. Not the, I mean the actor, yeah, but like the character, he was just like, I'm such a big fan. He's like giving him applause and thumbs up, and he's like, oh, I'm such a big fan. And then he's like
even his
out.
minions, like all his students were like, they were like in love with John Wick.
They
like,
were in awe of John Wick. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're like a John Wick fan club, basically, which was so cool because like I really loved it too because there's a sequence with the two guys fighting John Wick, and they're like, it's such a pleasure to fight with you. You're like so amazing and everything, and they're like fighting him and they're kicking his ass too. And every time they kick his ass, they help, like they're like letting him back up and they're like, you know, like. It was like they kept going until he kicked their ass, but like they were like such super fans of him that they were like, I don't know, it's like they were caught up in the moment of like fighting him that they just wanted to keep fighting him and hanging out with him. It was so weird, but it was so cool because I don't know, you don't really get that because like we love John Wick, so it's like I don't know, it felt like really cool to see that, like super fans of John Wick.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh my god, they're so obsessed with him that they're like, they love fighting with him, that they'll help him back up to keep fighting him. It was like, and he didn't kill them either. He just knocked them out, which was cool of him.
Even the concierge guy, Mr. Mosby, he fucking got some hardcore moment. He brought out the shotgun, and I'm like, oh yeah, you bring out the shotgun now with the armor-piercing rounds. There was not a boring moment in this movie. Even the quiet moments were good because it was world building.
They do a lot of like origin stuff for him too. Like they don't dip too much into his past, but like they kind of give you an experience of what his life was like and everything. Yeah. They had some really good jokes in here. I really like at the ending when he sees Lawrence Fishburne because he chops off his finger for the guy from G.I. Joe or whatever, and
yeah,
I think that guy was like one of the
high table people.
What was? Yeah, well, I forget what his name was. He was like, the Elder. He was called the Elder.
Oh yeah.
He chops off his finger for him, his ring finger, and like, at the end of the movie, he's like, raises his hand to Lawrence Fishburne, and Lawrence Fishburne is like, "Oh shit, boy, you got your finger cut off."
Ain't that a bitch? And then he
flips him off.
Yeah. And the ending, like, I'm so excited now because like we actually get to see like Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves actually team up again, since probably The Matrix. Oh, that was great.
The guy, the Winston guy who's in charge of the hotel, and the Mr. Mosby guy, I don't know what his real name is, they're kind of like going to be the next villains now.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah.
I don't know if like they're actually, like maybe they might help them in the next one. I don't know, but it seems like to me that they're going to be the bad guys, and I'm really excited to see like the Mr. Mosby guy like fight John Wick. After seeing what he could do in this movie, I'm like, I want to see that fight because like he's throughout these three movies, he's been like, he's had his back, and now we're gonna see him like fight him, and this is gonna be like crazy. You guys said it was your favorite John Wick movie. The second one is still my favorite, but it's like, it's hard for me to choose because before I saw this movie, I was like, man, it's really hard for me to choose
one or two.
Like my favorite, between one or two. Now it's even harder because of like, the third one now is included, so that one was really good. But I can definitely say that the second one is my favorite. But this, I don't know if I can choose between one or two being my second favorite because they're both really good. My screen is black. Is it working for you?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
I'm gonna close the app because this is not working. I don't know what's.
When you have someone like Dennis Quaid who comes to work and you see his work ethic is insane, right? And he's a star already. I just think that lights up everybody. Oh, it's great.
We were able to try everything. There's a lot of hand-to-hand combat.
We do have some very physical scenes together, and we had a blast actually filming those scenes.
You look at Dennis, and he's in his 60s, but he takes his shirt off, and I'm like, Christ, I gotta get my ass back to the gym.
He really is committed to this, and I think people are going to really be surprised to see Dennis Quaid in this role where he really becomes this other guy that is absolutely frightening.